Coming up on show 815, a triple motor Audi e-tron S has been seen testing. A whole new EV could be coming our way, I'll tell you more. Plus, why the engineers at Ford with the Mustang Mach-E think they've solved RA. You know that phrase, range anxiety? I never use it, I hate it. We don't say petrol anxiety, do we? But anyway, I suppose we have to in this case. VW are going their own way on software. That's interesting, and Elon Musk is delaying battery day for Tesla. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're listening in the world. Welcome to EV News Daily. Here's what happened on Saturday, 20th of June. My name is Martyn Lee. Go through every EV story so you don't have to, and I am playing a little bit of catch-up at the moment. I had a couple of days family holiday. Long-time listeners will know, not that you care really, we became a family late last year, just before Christmas. And so a new competing demands for my time, I guess, is what people would say. But we've had a couple of days family holiday and therefore playing catch up with the podcast. I appreciate your patience. Well, thank you as always to myev.com. They have been with me a couple of years now. It's an incredible website in the US. If you are checking out EVs for the first time, or maybe you are a bit of an expert yourself, check out myev.com, whether you're researching or talking about financing or warranties or even a dealer section as well. And just window shopping sometimes is the most fun you can have. Okay, let's talk about Ford and the Mustang Mach-E. Ford hopes to give reassurance to EV owners of the Mach-E, peace of mind, if you like, by releasing some, what they say is clever features, named Intelligent Range. Now, what this does, well, it will monitor very closely the consumption of the battery in real time. The Mach-E, which is coming at the end of this year, early next year, will be the first car that we find it in. Ford engineers started with the premise that a range estimate in an EV is just that. Now, if you're an EV driver, or even if you're not yet, but you listen to this podcast just because you're interested, I mean, you'll know that the number on the dash, the range estimate, is exactly that. Listen, it's the same with petrol and diesel cars. If you thrash those, you'll get a lower mileage per gallon. However, how far you can drive on a full battery depends on a wide range of factors, and the number you see on the dashboard is not always 100% accurate, says Autoblog. So, the Intelligent Range feature analyzes the consumption based around your behavior, the current and future weather predictions, so it'll tap into some AI stuff and look at forecasts and what it's going to be like in the area that you're in, but also the area that you're going to in the nav. Data from other Mach-E drivers who are sharing their own usage data, and it predicts how much electricity the powertrain will use for the trip. Range, of course, goes down if you drive like you're on a racetrack. Range will go down if you speed away from every red light. If it's freezing cold outside, the range will be going down a little bit. And those changes will be notified in a notification on the instrument cluster to let you know that your range is changing. Ford told Autoblog this technology works regardless of whether a destination is in the navigation system or not. Intelligent Range will learn your habits every single day, even if you're not using nav, and it detects whether you like to drive briskly, whether you always have AC on or just occasionally, and those parameters. It doesn't require nav information to factor in the weather and crowdsource data into its real-world range estimates. Really interesting piece of innovation done here. Some EV makers base it on the last so many miles that you've driven. Some have an algorithm, like Tesla, for instance, that doesn't change. And so this is an interesting way to do it, and we'll see how it works in real life when we finally get a chance to drive the Ford Mach-E. Something that I'm excited to do, by the way. Well, Volkswagen are reducing their reliance on software partnerships and shifting gears to develop their own in-vehicle software. The shift starts on July the 1st. VW's newly formed organisation, internal company, but it's called Car.Software, and they will be switching from a startup phase to operational phase, according to Roadshow by CNET. VW's current share of its Car.Software is less than 10%. Which might be surprising to a few people. It was to me. I had to read that sentence a couple of times and fully understand what it meant. VW's current share of software in its own cars is 10%. Now that means the rest of their software in VW comes from IT companies, tier 1 providers and third-party software providers. It's early days for their new company, but the first wave of VW ID electric cars will still use the old technology, VW's contemporary MEB platform and the software that it shares with Audi and a Porsche developed premium platform electric software platform which comes at 2022, then we'll get a transition period. And then after that, we get VW.OS, which is around 2025 custom VW software. The announcement yesterday came amid reports of numerous software bugs causing delays to the summer rollout of the VW ID.3 hatchback, and even now VW have put a kind of two-tier system in, so if you want your ID.3 early September, mid-September, you can, but it won't be software complete, and if you want to wait, it's fine, you will get your car and it will be all bells, all whistles. The stuff that's missing is like head-up display and app usage and stuff like that. I mean, important but not mission-critical stuff. Well, headline story is the new Audi e-tron, which has been out for some time, is certainly more successful than other cars like the Mercedes-Benz EQC, one of my favourites, by the way. It's just like living in the lap of luxury when you're inside a Merc. However, hasn't got the best sales figures yet. They're definitely learning their way with EVs. According to Auto Evolution website, the Audi e-tron S has been seen on the track with 3 motors. How much more? Well, 496 brake horsepower in the e-tron S. 3 motors, tri-motor. It drops the 0 to 62 time by 2.1 seconds, and it will get you to a top speed of 130 miles an hour. That's 210 kilometers an hour. The not so big secret of the Audi e-tron S is that it enables a performance boost from the third motor. The unit that normally powers the rear axle on both of the e-trons, the 50 and the 55, is moved up front on the e-tron S, and then you get 2 smaller motors on the rear wheels. I'll pop a link to the show notes if you want to read more, but I'm really excited about more performance cars coming from me. Look, the Audi e-trons are quick enough, but they're not exactly winning any drag races because they're beasts, right? They're big, heavy, luxury cars, and so Audi adding a third motor will definitely grab some performance headlines and do no harm to the brand's reputation. Well, Tesla's Elon Musk said yesterday that Battery Day is going to be moved back. The event and the shareholders meeting, which was slated for July 7th, will be delayed. And the Battery Day event, where Tesla is expected to reveal details about their million-mile battery, was originally planned for April, bumped back because of the COVID-19 situation, says The Verge. In response, they say, to a question on Twitter about whether Cybertruck would be at the shareholders meeting, Elon said, and I quote, "We'll have to postpone annual shareholder meeting as still no gatherings allowed by July 7th. Not sure of new date, but am guessing maybe a month or so later." End quote. He later added that Tesla would likely combine the shareholders meeting with the Battery Day event, and that it would probably be held in Fremont, California, where Tesla has their factory. All right, 3 more stories. Tesla is slashing the price of their solar installations. Tesla said today, we'll start off with a blog post. We'll work our way through it and work out what it means. Today, say Tesla, we are introducing the lowest ever cost to go solar in the United States. Our average system size is now 1/3 less expensive than the industry average, and we have recently introduced a lowest price guarantee. If you change your mind after purchasing or are unhappy with the system, we will come and uninstall it and issue a full refund within 7 days. With our new pricing, an average customer buying a large system in California will make their money back in only 6 years by reducing their electric bill, ultimately making an average of $88,000 over the lifetime of the system. In New Mexico, that same system will make an average of $55,000 over its lifetime. In Vermont, $47,000. Our internal software platform now automates solar panel placement for energy optimization on your roof, significantly reducing the time needed to design a new system. We also continue to invest in core technologies that raise the efficiency of our solar systems, new premium panels with higher power and efficiency, as well as integrated software and hardware that reduces the cost of solar interconnection and makes pairing solar with Powerwall easier than ever. So that's what Tesla say. Let's dig into that. According to a report by the Solar Energy Industries Association, well, the average cost of residential solar in Q1 of the year was $2.83 per watt, and a non-residential system is $1.36. According to Fox Business, before federal tax incentives, Tesla's small system will cost you $10,000 for 4.1 kilowatts of power. That is $2.44 per watt. Remember, that's in comparison to the $2.83, which is the average. The medium system costs $16,000, and the large system would cost you $23,500. But that's for 12.2 kilowatts, though. If you're putting 12.2 kilowatts of solar on your roof, you've got a big roof. Going to cost you $23,000, but it comes in at $1.93 a watt. Again, compared to $2.83. Which is the average. And if you go extra large, for some reason, if you want to put 16 kilowatts of power on your roof and spend 30k on it, you're going to get your energy at 184. Again, compared to the average of 283. After federal tax incentives, the total cost comes out for a small system. What's the cheapest you can get? Well, you can put a small system on your roof for about $7,500 and all the way up to about $22,000 for an extra large system after you get a bunch of incentives. So, lots of reasons to think about solar when the price is coming down and that cost. If you are going to be in that property for a while, you make your money back quicker. And if you think that by selling it with solar on is hopefully going to increase the price, or at least the desirability in a hot market, or even a kind of a cool market where you need to get interest, you think you're going to get top dollar by having solar. Well, it's all reasons to think about adding a bit of generation to your roof. If you're an EV driver, again, you start to generate your own electricity for your own mobility. This ecosystem that exists around EVs really excites me. How about you? Right, moving on. If you own an EV and you drive in Europe, you may have as many as 6 or more charging apps on your phone and half a dozen charging system access cards, RFID cards in your wallet or your glove box to swipe. Now, Bosch says it will take just a few clicks to register, charge and pay with a brand new app, which Bosch say can be the only app you have on your phone, says Steve for Clean Technica. The president of the division at Bosch that makes this told Robotics and Automation News, I quote, "With our recharging services, we're developing a universal key to one of the biggest pan-European recharging networks, and in doing so, we're making electromobility even more viable. Recharging has to be simple and smooth for everyone. Bosch's smart recharging services are crucial for the widespread acceptance of electromobility," end quote. Well, Bosch says their solution makes the payment really simple as well. The app pays using credit card details that you upload to it once, providing users with a single monthly statement and recharging costs. You can use it at over 150,000 chargers, and that's going to grow to 200,000 by the end of 2020. 27,500 those are in Germany, and the Bosch Charge MyEV app allows drivers to locate available chargers anywhere in Europe. You know what I've not done after going through this whole story and researching it? I've not downloaded the app myself. Mental note. When this podcast is done and posted and published and it's all online, I'm going to go download Bosch Charge MyEV app and see what it works like in the UK. All right, final story. The German-based tuner, which is called Tech Art, has been fettling with Porsches for decades, so it only seems right that it should turn its hand to an all-new, all-electric Taycan. Though powertrain upgrades are unlikely, it does have plans to add new aerodynamic components. I mean, they can't exactly go in and tinker with the powertrain. Like some people are hacking Teslas and stuff, so I'm not sure they will do with the Porsche, but they can certainly do things like wheels and upgrades. It says Evo magazine, Tech Art has plenty of aesthetics, they say. Modifications, if you like, up their sleeve. 22-inch forged wheels that can go on any current Taycan variant. Details are yet to be confirmed about the other stuff, but they do want to give Taycan customers free rein when it comes to customization. And you could argue that actually if you're a Taycan customer with that amount of money to spend, you are probably used to having a great buying experience. You're probably not staying at the cheapest hotel, as you're probably buying a nice bottle of wine every so often. And so it goes that if you are buying an expensive Porsche, you can customize it exactly how you would like it. Now, Tech Art say they will reupholster the inside of the Taycan, new leather, new fabric, and the new paint job. If you don't like the factory paint job, they'll do that as well for you, a fresh multi-coat paint finish. I'll pop a link to Evo in the show notes if you'd like to read more. You know what? One of the reasons that I love stories like this, even though I'm probably not going to be buying a Porsche anytime soon, and I don't know, maybe you might be, you might not be. I don't know what your finances are like, but I certainly won't be. But I like stories like this because it signifies a general maturity to the EV market. Like a few years ago, certainly even on this show a couple of years ago, we were talking about, there's going to be an EV coming soon at a certain price point, and there was a handful of cars on the market, and it was a new thing to be talking about. And in many ways, EVs still are, really. You and I are still really kind of early adopters in the grand scheme. But when you're talking about there being companies cropping up that are there to serve customization and hacking Teslas, like I mentioned, and customizing Taycans, it means that they're moving on to the next stage. And I like that. I like the fact that EVs are just becoming... There's more of an ecosystem around them. I hope I'm making sense to you. It makes me really happy that they're moving onwards, and they're not this kind of crazy new world thing. They're just becoming normal. It's just another car, happens to have a battery in it. All right, question of the week on Sunday, talking about the EV conversations that you've had with others, like colleagues and family and friends, etc. You can email me anytime about anything. My address is hello@evnewsdaily.com, or leave a comment on the YouTube show. Well, there are 231 patrons of the podcast. Got a couple of new names to read out, actually, on Monday's show when we start a brand new week. And I couldn't do this show, literally couldn't do it, without Patreon supporters. I started off as a hobby, started off covering all the costs myself, but got sooner or later it gets pretty expensive to have 814 shows in the archive. So thank you to Patreon for making that happen, and for helping me fund the show, and also to give me the time to do it as well. Because otherwise, if I wasn't doing this, I'd be doing other work to earn money, and I wouldn't be able to make the show. So thank you so much. I really mean it. Patreon, if you're interested, no pressure, patreon.com/EVNewsDaily. Premium partners of the show are Phil Roberts of Electric Future, Brad Crosby, Avid Technology, also Brightsmith Group for Clean Tech Talent, Porsche of the Village, Cincinnati, Audi East, and now NationalCarCharging.com and AlohaCharge.com in Hawaii. Have a wonderful day. I'll catch you tomorrow, and remember, there's no such thing as a self-charging hybrid.